everyone, welcome back to Mochi Gaming. Today we will be doing an ASMR video. Okay, I'm just kidding. We're doing a tips video. So, I just want to say before we get into it, these tips and tricks are things I make use of personally and would definitely recommend to players. But with that being said, hopefully you guys will find these tips helpful and unique because I definitely spent a lot of time handpicking them so that I don't include anything too basic or redundant for people who have already been playing Animal Crossing for a good amount of time. So yeah, let's get into it. First batch of tips we're going to be sharing today is regarding decorating. So my first tip, we're going to start off really simple. Maybe some of you guys already know this, but it's to check to see if something is customizable. You can check to see if an item is customizable in the DIY app by checking to see if the item has a paintbrush on the top left corner of its DIY. So we can see that these items are customizable. They have a little paintbrush while these ones do not. So yeah, that's a really simple way before you even buy like customization kits or anything that you can check if something is customizable. And right now let's head to Harv's Island and I will show you the rest. Okay, and we are on Harv's Island. So this is an addition from the previous tip. It's not really a new tip, but you can check to see what an item looks like by placing it at Harv's. So we're gonna go into here and you can edit. So this is everything you have, like everything you've crafted, everything you've cataloged. It's not necessarily what you have at home right now, but you can just drop something in here and then press X to color it, and then you can pick a color, confirm, and you can see what it looks like. So you can change the lighting of this to make sure that it's like wild lighting or something, but you can definitely see how it looks like a full round before you even use your customization kit to customize it, because those customization kits are kind of pricey. So yeah, that is a really good tool if you need to customize something or if you want to change the look of something. In relation to customizing, be sure you guys are talking to Sable. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this already, but I just want to say it in case anyone doesn't, which I feel like is unlikely, but it's okay. Um, in case you guys don't know, Sable will give you different types of fabric once she gets to know you enough, and it will be eight, I believe, eight types, and those are all for you to use to customize anything that has cloth on it. Next up, if you're anything like me, you're probably really lazy and hate to eat fruits one by one, and it's annoying to click. Sometimes you'll drop it or something like that. A easy way to solve this is eating turnips. So when you eat turnips, I already have fruits, I believe, already eaten, but if you don't have fruits already eaten, you can eat 10 turnips. Oh wait, actually maybe not. Let's try it. Okay, there. So you can eat 10 turnips and immediately you'll have 10 fruits. So all done. And this is very useful because on average, turnips usually cost around the same as your island fruit. So like my island fruits are oranges, so my oranges cost around $100 each or 100 bells each, and so turnips cost around that, maybe 90 to 110 ish. And it's very useful if you want to save time and you're moving trees a lot or it's a day of construction, and on top of that, it's just very handy. But just to note, if you are carrying turnips, do not travel backwards in time. And one more thing before I leave off of fruit is that when you are eating fruit, if you have any leftover fruit, if you don't end game like pressing the minus button, then your fruits will be saved even onto the next day. But if you save your game by pressing the minus button, your fruits will disappear when you come back into the game. Next tip is for all the perfectionists out there. Like me, I like to plan ahead of time before I build. So I want to make sure that I know how many spaces a building or something like that will take. And the best way to do this is measuring out things by using a shovel to dig out holes. So Animal Crossing is in a grid system, so you can definitely dig out holes to make sure that you know what a dimension is for an item or for whatever you're trying to build. And additionally, you can see that if you try to dig areas that you can't place an item, you will not be able to dig. So this will also help you determine if you can place an item, like maybe in front of a house or something like that. And with that being said, I want to include all of the things that are already measured out, like the different buildings and NPC, like shops and stuff like that. So we'll put a picture right here for you guys to screenshot or for you guys to see. Okay, and after that, I want to add just one additional thing on top of that. Since we're already using the shovel, I want to say if you're digging empty holes and if you're covering them up, I see that a lot of people have a misconception about this. This does not use your shovel durability. So right now, it's not taking any damage from doing that. So if you're digging empty holes, go right ahead. It's not going to use your shovel durability and you're totally good. Speaking of shovel durability, I want to say our next tip is going to be that you can customize your shovel using a customization kit, which costs around 600 bells. And if you customize it, it resets its durability. So my shovel currently probably has around 40 durability because I've been shoveling around, and it has a maximum of 100 health, I believe, on these shovels. So if I go in and just buy a customization kit and come out and customize right here, your shovel durability will be reset. So you can always do that if you don't want to spend too much buying a shovel, because I always end up buying like a shovel in the beginning of the day which costs 2,500 when you could be doing a customization with 600 bells. But that's all on personal preference. Sometimes I don't want to be counting how many times I've used the shovel, but it is a good rule of thumb to follow if you are lacking in money or something like that. Okay, moving on. We are on our next tip, tip number 5, I believe. If your garden is overgrown like mine is right now, and it's always raining like it is right now, I have no idea why it's always raining on my island, but it is. So, if your island is always raining and your flowers are getting overgrown and they're becoming like weeds, you can stop the growth problem by either using default or custom pathing around wherever you want your garden to stop growing. And this is very useful because I'm so lazy to clean up after a rain. They always spawn, and it just drives me insane to see so many flowers on my island. But with that, I want to say most people are probably going to be like, oh, I put my flowers sporadically, so I don't know how to put like pathing around it because I don't want it to look ugly or anything like that. And I understand. So another great tip for this is custom pathing around it. So do you see this flower right here? It has a chance to spawn or rebreed around its 9 adjacent, I guess adjacent, yes, adjacent squares. So what we can do is we can have a custom pathing of just transparent nothing design, and you're going to display this on the ground, and you can use the terraforming tool and lay that down really fast. But that is how you do it if you want your flower to not spawn. So you need to cover up all this area, and since it's transparent, you won't even see a thing and it looks perfectly fine. So That is a great way if you don't want your flowers to overspawn. Next up, most people probably don't know this, but do you see this garbage bin? It is an item, but it is also an item that you could use. So you can toss whatever trash you want into here and it won't show up. So if you have anything that you're too lazy to go to nooks and crannies to sell, or if you just don't think it's worth selling, it's definitely a good go to put it into a garbage bin. So if you're cleaning up an area or something like that, like let's say these flowers, they're worth maybe 270-ish each flower. They're not worth anything to me. So I can just dig something up. So I'm gonna dig these red cosmos up because they're not one of my favorite flowers. So, and then we can just toss them like this. And it's very useful when you're decorating and just wants things gone and don't have to like move around. So as you can see, it is gone from my inventory and gone forever into the void of data. And let's move on. So the next set of tips we're going to be doing is some more like money and getting items type of tips. So let's get that going. Okay, first tip in the making monies and collecting item series, which is requiring a friend and time traveling. I'm sure most of y'all are tired of tracing your turnip prices on Turnip Profit, and it's uncertainty of the fluctuating curves and the decreasing curves and all of that, and it's just a mess and you don't want to deal with it. And so this tip will guarantee you bank, and that is you check turnip prices twice a day, so in the morning and in the afternoon, and you find a good day with the best price, maybe like 400, 500 if you're lucky, and ask a friend to time travel back to Sunday. So this can work either way. You can have your friend be the one who has a good price, or you be the one who has a good price, but whoever doesn't have the good price has to time travel back. Okay, and then you go to your friend's island and you buy turnips there. So you keep buying. You can do this for as many trips as you and your friend will like by buying and unloading onto your island. So just keep traveling back and forth. And then you're going to open your gate and invite your friend over and sell all the turnips at the high price. So then you are guaranteed a profit. Every single round will probably give you like 2 million ish for a high peak, 2 million ish profit. And this is such a great way to make money early game, and you just have like a buttload of bells that you can have like to spend at your leisure. But I do want to add that this works better with players who are friends because it is a hassle entering like dodo codes each time. So if you open your friend gate, then you can just search for a friend, and that's like one less step in trying to travel through the dodo airline. So yeah, that is a great tip for anyone who wants to make money. Next up, making multiple accounts. So in early game, making multiple accounts, even in late game, it's great. You have additional storage, you have another house to decorate, and all of that. But additionally, on top of all of that, it's great for making money and collecting items because you get increased numbers of glowing spot and increased number of DIY bottles. So all of those are given to you based on how many players you have. So each player can log in and get their glowing spot and get their DIY bottle. And then you can also get copies of villager crafted DIYs when they're crafting a DIY and you think that DIY can sell for a good price. You can also get a copy of that and just sell it off on Nookazon or anything like that and make a little bit of additional side hustle money. So yeah, but while we're on the topic of crafted DIYs, make sure you get the 3 different DIYs throughout the day. And if you're a beginner that hasn't really decorated, I would suggest putting your houses in a cluster form so that you can check for DIYs very easily by seeing if like the chimney is smoking or their windows are open to make sure they're home. Oh, one more thing. I forgot to add this, but NPC interactions, like Red or Celeste will give each player a chance to buy a painting or a DIY. So when you have multiple players, you can have multiple DIYs and multiple NPC interactions. Okay, next up, if you're not opposed to time skipping, you can pick 2 days with good NPCs like Red or Celeste. I do not know who's my NPC today, so I'm gonna go around and find it. But you can pick 2 days with good NPCs like Red or Celeste, and then you time travel back and forth between those 2 days to get a lot of NPC items. So let's say like I had one day where it was May 27th and May 28th that had both Red and Celeste, and I would just time travel back and forth getting the DIYs and getting the painting that I needed. And that is a great way to gain items if you're looking just to like get items, but it is a way to like burn out the game if you're trying to like slow down the pace and stuff like that. So do this at your own risk. I would definitely say if you are a beginning player, do not time travel. I recommend not time traveling because it really is such a great game to enjoy just as its calm atmosphere and not having to like be a completionist about collecting items. And with this tip, I want to include that these dates are only good for about a week's time. So don't come back like maybe in August to like May to be like, oh, I had Celeste and Red back at this time, so I can go back and do that. No, these items, these dates only save for about a week. So like a week real time because your game is tracking what NPCs has shown up in the last week because that's how they decide what NPC will show up the next day, since only one NPC gets spawned about a week. And so if you're looking to do that, just make sure that you're doing this like within like a week's time. Guess I don't have an NPC today. Well, this is a little random, but this next tip is regarding the weather. So as you guys can see, it is raining right now. And if you guys are wondering how the weather starts up or anything like that, the weather comes every single hour. So different weather starts every single hour. So if it's raining, it'll stop around the hour time, or it'll start raining around the hour time. And you can see the weather before the hour changes. So if the skies start clearing up at like 6:55, that means that the next hour, which is 7, is going to be clear. So if you guys are trying to avoid rain or something like that, maybe it'll be best to avoid the times that you guys can see that there is clearly a cloud getting over the island. Alrighty, and we are on our last tip, which is pressing B. And I'm not sure how many people know this because I only found this out like maybe like a week or so ago. It is, you can press B to speed up a conversation. I've seen people say that you mash A, but I don't think it works very well. I think it might be placebo to mash A, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. But for sure, if you press B just one single time, it will speed up the dialogue. So if you're tired of hearing Orville talk all the time, you can speed his dialogue up with pressing B. Okay, and that is a wrap. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I hope you guys found these tips helpful, or at least one of them helpful. Um, if you guys did like this content, be sure to subscribe and like. And if you guys have any more tips, comment down below. Or if you guys have any suggestions or any commentary, be sure to leave that down below. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for the support. Signing off.